Once again, it's Jim Milanich, the Commissioner, Assigner, and Rules Interpreter for Cascade Officials Association. This presentation is going to cover batting out of order. What happens when you bat out of order? Well, first, recognize that batting out of order is one of the 4 appeals listed in the rules, National Federation of High Schools rules book. Let's do examples because it's easier to walk through examples than it is to try to go through the rule. Number 11, Karen Glad bats for number 10, Maddie O'Malley, who should have batted. So there you see number 11, Karen Glad in the floor spot, and she is batting for Maddie O'Reilly. The defense appeals while number 11 is still batting with a 2-1 count. Simply all you do in that case is you replace number 11 with number 10, who is the proper batter, and she assumes the count. Now, what happens if number 11, Karen, completes her at bat? Well, it has to be identified before the next pitch, before an intentional base on balls, before all the infielders leave the diamond and the catcher's box, or before the umpire leaves the field after the last play of the game. What are the consequences? Well, the proper batter is out and loses her turn at bat. So if number 11, Karen, bats for number 10, Maddie, and Karen is identified as the improper batter by the defense, Karen does not lose her turn at bat, but Maddie loses her turn at bat. So Maddie is declared out. The improper batter returns to the dugout, or in this case, Karen would bat again because she is the batter who follows Maddie. Any out made stands. So, for example, if you have a runner on first and Karen hits a ground ball in the infield and she reaches first base, but the runner on first is thrown out on second, Karen would be removed from the ball diamond on the appeal. Maddie would be declared out, and then Karen would come back and bat again. The runner who was on first, who's put out on second, that out would stand, and the runner would not return to first base. If the runner was not put out, again, same scenario, runner on first. Now this time Karen hits a single, runner makes it to second, Karen makes it to first. The defense appeals, Maddie's declared out as the proper batter. Karen comes back and bats again. The runner who's made it to second now must return to first base because that's the base she occupied at the time of the pitch. Finally, if the runner on first stole the base or advanced on a wild pitch or pass ball, she can stay there. So let's say Karen's at bat, she's the improper batter, she strikes out, the runner on first steals second base, then the defense appeals Karen's improper batting, Maddie's declared out, Karen bats again, but since the runner achieved a stolen base, she gets to keep that stolen base. Okay, let's look at a different set of circumstances. First, let's remember that in this scenario, number 11, Karen Glad, is batting for number 10, Maddie O'Reilly, and she completes her at bat. However, it's not identified until after a pitch is thrown, whether a legal or illegal pitch, or an intentional walk is awarded to Nancy Berkshire, or who follows Karen Glad, by the way, or the infielders leave the diamond and the catcher leaves the catcher's box. What happens? Well, at that point, the improper batter's time at bat becomes legal. In other words, Karen Glad is now the legal batter. Nancy follows her in the batting order. If Nancy is given an intentional walk, then she remains on base. Karen remains at second base. What about if the player bats out of order and is on base when it's her time to bat? How can that happen? Well, let's look at this scenario. Number 3, Janice Townsend bats for Maddie O'Malley. Then the batting out of order is not appealed by the defense. Number 10, Maddie steps in the batter's box and bats, and then number 11 comes in and bats, and she takes a pitch. Now, number 10's bat has become the proper batter. Number 11 follows her. She completes her at bat, and so then Nancy Berkshire comes and bats, and she completes her bat. Now, number 3, Janice Townsend, should bat, but she's on base. So what do? You simply skip her time at bat and leave her on base. And then number 9, Kathy Sunyak, comes up and bats. This concludes the presentation.